are live. It's 5:35 on a absolutely beautiful Wednesday afternoon here in South Florida. I'm just loving this weather. I'm loving what's going on. We have a bunch of stuff to actually talk about today. It's it's money time. It's absolutely money time, and I'm ready to have all kinds of a party going on today because today is the first day with the new camera, not using a webcam, actually using a really nice DSLR camera. Got all the gadgets, all the hookups. I mean, it took months. I mean, if you haven't been doing a live stream, you wouldn't know this. But some of this stuff has actually taken months to compile because live streaming is so hot. And I'm just so happy to be a part of it. I'm loving the way the new camera looks. I'm going to tweak with the color. Hopefully the microphone is hitting. Yeah, the levels are looking good. So I got a lot to go over with you guys today. And it's just a great time, even despite all the paranoia and hysteria going on about the coronavirus that sometimes now we can't even say in a video. Do you know that if you say it too many times in a video, YouTube and Facebook they can transcribe what you say, and they're limiting the scope and how many people can actually see it. So when I have to talk about it, yeah, I'll talk about it, but not much longer, man. This thing is beginning to become where it's just a political, hysterical insanity. I mean, I'm getting texts all the time from my friends and family, and they think because of what they hear on the news that everybody down here is gonna die and we're all going crazy, and it's just not true. It's not true. I can't stress it enough. Yes, there are some pockets where there's some problematic things going on, but all of the wearing of the mask, closing the beaches, stopping people from going out, it's insane. But as I've said many times, this is the time to buy because blood is running in the street. Not literally, but people are freaking out. And as Warren Buffett has said, and I've told you guys over and over, be greedy when people are fearful. Be greedy when people are fearful. If Warren Buffett can give that kind of advice, and it's not coming from me, it's absolutely true. This is going to be a money-making opportunity like you haven't seen in a long time. And it's not going to be for everybody. No, I understand that. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to shy away. A lot of people who are timid, who are concerned about what people think. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've been called a bottom feeder. I can't tell you how many times people have accused me of, quote, raping the land. I don't care. It's all about money. When I saw the signals that said, hey, listen, it's time to get back into real estate, I didn't hesitate. I jumped in, just dove in the deep end of the pool because I could see the different trends and what was going to be happening. And I knew all the different slogans that you hear, time to buy is when blood is running through the street, be greedy when others are fearful. Those aren't new sayings. Those are things that anyone who's a prudent investor has had in their pocketbook for quite a long time. So I'm going to talk about some of that stuff today. I'm trying out the new dummy battery on the camera. It says it shouldn't cut off, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that I don't lose you guys. But everything today is new connections, new HDMI cords. I love the way it looks. I'm going to get me some more sun so I can look even better on this camera. But that being said, let's jump into one of the first things we talk about on every show, every day, and that's our Corona board. The Corona board. This is the board that we have to talk about because people up north and other areas are just crazy on Twitter, crazy in my text and DM about how we're all going to die. So let me go ahead and just refresh, and it's refreshing. And you're seeing it refresh live, so you know I'm not faking it, because some people would actually say that. So as this thing loads, let me just tell you, it's become more insane than ever. And I know it's political. I know they're trying to use this as a pawn to try and hold the elections back and try to sway people to push for mail-in ballots instead of in-person voting. I don't care. I really don't care if that's what everybody is worried about, because let them do that. Let them go ahead and just be as wacky and crazy as they can, because what we're going to be looking at is the ability to make a tremendous amount of profit based upon the data that we're seeing. So let's go ahead and look at the board here. And the first thing you're seeing here is that they've changed some of the metrics. Their front page now has a large information here in terms of regard of the number of cases. And as you can see, yes, we've had a strong escalation of cases. It's gone up to, yesterday it was 6,500. Everybody keeps talking about it, 6, 11, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we've had 20,000 or so cases in the last week. But we've only had a total of 3,500 people who have succumbed to this thing. And so I see that they have taken off the death toll for some reason, the daily death toll, or they've hit it someplace, so I can't get to it right now. That's interesting. We're still at an 8% clip for people who are testing positive, but the death number has been removed. They're not doing the daily death number anymore. That's very interesting. I wonder why, because people were complaining and probably hacking into the site, not wanting people to see what the actual data is. But this is the cumulative. This is 3,500 people in the entire time. It was like 3,470 yesterday. But, you can still go in cases by county and look at it this way. We live here in Palm Beach County, and I'm going to scroll down to Palm Beach County, and you click here, and it tells you all the data here. We've had 500 since this thing has begun, all the way back in February, March, whenever it was. So it's just not happening. We're just not seeing the amount of deaths that everyone is complaining about. It's just not there. It's just not there. So let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about the corona. That's going to take care of itself. Let them fight it out in the media. And what I prefer you guys to do, those of you that want to succeed in some real estate investing down here in South Florida, is now is the time to get your ducks in a row. Get your funding, get your contractors and your crew. If you're going to be doing some rehabs, now is the absolute best time to be ready. Let me tell you why. So yesterday I posted this story, and it was in the afternoon, and people were saying that DeSantis dodged the question and wouldn't answer it about the moratorium on evictions that were set to expire today. And I guess he's been frustrated as well, as many tenants and landlords have been. It's a frustrating time. But today, he did go ahead and extend the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures to August 1st. So what does this mean? It means that there's another 30 days to get your marketing in order, to begin looking at potential properties that you can purchase. I don't think, and again, it's just me thinking, I don't think he's going to extend it another 30 days. I think this is going to be it. I don't think it's going to go any further. This complete train wreck of, let's see if that works. I love my toys. Well, this train wreck of corona that has hit the economy, and now the real estate market as well, is not going to end well for a lot of people. But you can help them. You can put yourself in a position where you can help some people. So one of the things that we talked about yesterday was that the banks are not going to be lending. And so if people are in foreclosure right now, if they find themselves 3, 4, 5 months behind on a mortgage, the ability for them to get a forbearance, which is basically trying to work out some sort of loan modification, try to maybe even abate the back payments or tack them onto the back end of the loan, the ability of them to do that is going to be severely impeded because the banks are not able to rely on the credit standing of the borrower. And because they can't rely on the credit standing of the borrower, say that 4 times fast, they're pulling back. They're pulling back on lending to people. And when banks constrict, it becomes very hard for the average homeowner and prospective buyer to get loans for some of these properties unless they've got a good cash down payment and or they have a good relationship with the bank that knows them. That doesn't bode well for people who are currently in foreclosure. They're not going to have the option to probably modify their loan or pay it off or refi. That's going to be very tough. I mean, I'm not even going to go into the problem that tenants are going to have. The tenants are going to have to leave the property they're in and find another property with no real updating with Equifax and TransUnion, the credit bureaus. What's going to happen? These people aren't going to find any place to live. I talked about that yesterday in my interview with Chris Griffith over in Bonita Springs, is that we're going to have to be, as landlords, somewhat compassionate. That's where the compassion part comes in. You know, people think I'm a raider and, again, a bottom feeder, but on the other side, when you're a renter, when you're a landlord, you've got to exercise some compassion. These people need our help. So, you know, that being that, you got to get the property first. Before you can rent the property out, you got to get the property. Now, my compassion will go to a point because at some point, you're going to have to be very careful. Is the person working again? Is the government going to shut down? These people are going to be out of work. But if you buy right, you're going to be able to not have to worry about those problems. So what would I do? See, I have a lot of different databases that I tie into so I can get some information and begin to look up properties and see who's behind, who the person is, how to get in contact with them. But if you're not an agent, and if you're an agent, you've got the MLS, you can look up listed properties, but you can also go to IMAP and a couple of the other databases, and you can see which properties are in trouble. A very inexpensive way for any investor to begin doing this is simply go to Zillow. And if you go to Zillow, and I just put in, Boca Raton here, you're going to see there's a crap load of properties in various stages of foreclosure. Now, obviously, Zillow has some here, like this one here has been out here for 315 days, unless that's a short sale or somebody just forgot to take it off the listing of Zillow listing. Who knows if this property, you're going to have to do some homework, some elbow grease, look up these properties and find out. But here's what I'm talking about. Here's 148 properties. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can blow that up a little bit for you. All right. Okay, so as you can see here, yeah, you should be able to see it. I just highlighted it. There's 148 potential foreclosures right here in Boca Raton, one city. So what I'm going to be doing is 148 times 50 cents for mailing. What's that? 75, 80 bucks? I'm going to take 80 bucks and I'm going to mail to every single one of these homes. All of them. I'm going to send them a letter. Every single one of these properties is going to get a letter from me about the situation they're in. Now, yes, that kind of ticks a lot of people off sometimes. They're wondering, how did you get my information? A lot of them don't know this stuff is public record. But if I send out 148 letters 2 or 3 times, so maybe I invest 250 bucks in it and do 3 mailings, depending on when their final judgment sale is, their auction, which you can go to the public records and see when the auction date is. But, and by the way, once I look up this property, I'm going to be able to find out how much they owe, what the equity is on it, what it's worth. I can drive by, I can see what kind of damage there is on the property. I can do all kinds of due diligence on this property without ever going in. And if you know your neighborhood, what I used to call it the farming area, if you know your area, there's a couple areas in Fort Lauderdale, I don't have to even get in the car and go look at anything. I know if I see the address and the configuration, I can tell you what the property is worth and what it'll sell for. Don't even have to go look. So I know going through the list pendants and the final judgment in terms of what a bank is asking for, I can immediately see if there's a deal. It doesn't take me long. So between dropping all these letters on all these properties here and just sending them a letter and saying, hey, I understand you're in a bad situation. I'd really like to help you out. I'm really interested in helping you move on. I understand you have an auction date on July 19th. And before you lose the property without any money, I'd like to offer you a way that you can make some money, put some cash in your pocket, take care of your family, and move on. I can't help you save the home, but I can help you put some money in your pocket. How many people are going to respond? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. If one responds, just imagine if one person responds. I spent $250 with 3 mailings. If one person responds, I stand to make $20,000 or $30,000. That's one hell of a return. That's one hell of a return. We call it ROAS in advertising, return on advertising spend. If I spend $250 and I can get one property that's going to turn $20,000 to $30,000 in return for me, I think anybody would call that a home run. You just need to know what to look for. You need to know what data to extract. You need to know what the values are, how many days on market, what's the absorption rate, is it a buyer's market, is it a seller's market, how many times are the properties in that area, how many other properties in that area are for sale, or is it going to depress the market? I even look as far as how many sex offenders are in the area. I want to make sure that I can provide all the information I can to the seller that tells him, here's the value of your property in regard to how much I would pay. You may find somebody else, but you're going to have to wait 30 or 60 days to close. That's where the rubber meets the road. Because as we know, you now have until August 1st. That's it. That's a deadline. I've been waiting for this for quite some time. That's it. August 1st. Now, you may have a couple weeks after that, and you want to roll the dice. You want to see if maybe he tries to extend it again. You want to put your family in that position that, on August 5th, judge gavels and says, you're gone? Or would you like to settle this now, sell the property, take some cash, maybe, and get out from underneath this thing? See, in addition to cash, the value that I'm bringing to him or her or both of them is that their credit won't be irreparably damaged. They won't get a deficiency judgment. If the bank takes it back, boom, forget getting a house in the next 7 years. Then if the bank gets a deficiency judgment, they're going to come after you for whatever they dumped the property for. And that difference, if they repossess it at $250 and they were owed $300, that's a deficiency judgment. Once they sell it at $250, hey, we took a loss. We took a loss of $50,000. Who do you think is going to have to pay that? Who do you think they're going to go after? They're going to go after the homeowner, or actually the ex-homeowner, and say, hey, John, I know we took your house. I know we then had the sheriff throw you out. I'm sorry about all that. But in addition to that, you owe us $50,000, and we want it. Or, hey, John, I don't know what the bank's going to do. I'll go ahead and buy this to you. I'll save your credit. I'll give you some cash so you guys can relocate and you can move on and start over. That's the pitch. That's always been the pitch, and it works wonders. It just works wonders. So once I start doing that and sending out letters to these 150, excuse me, taking a drink, then what I'll do is look to another city, and what's close by here? Let's look at Delray. Okay, Delray Beach. How many foreclosures are we looking at in Delray? Another 114. So between those two cities, between Delray and Boca, I can now say that there are at least, because there's probably more once I start looking it up, there's at least 260 potential properties for me to contact to see if they want to do a deal. If you're a doctor, not really doctor, but if you're a lawyer, you're a realtor, you sell solar panels, how much does it cost for you to get a lead? Well, I just showed you, literally just showed you on the lookup here, how I just picked up 260 potential leads in the span of time that I'm just sitting here on camera talking to you. 260 leads. How many of those do you need to close? One. Maybe those 260 don't do anything. Maybe they want to wait it out. I still have all your data. I hit you with a mailing next month, or next week rather. What's it cost me? 260 times 50 cents a piece, $130. Still, if I send 3 or 4 of them, what if I spend $1,000 sending out letters or Facebook ads or YouTube ads, and I get one deal, putting 20 or 30 grand in the pocket? Where it really gets fun is when you do 2 or 3 of these a month. At one point when we were back in the heyday, we were doing up to 10 of these a month. It was just unreal. And I'm seeing this as that time again. When I see things like this, when I see things like that, that tells me we are back. We are back in that market that is just unreal with opportunity. Unreal with the chance to make a lifetime's worth of money in the next couple months. Seriously. A lifetime worth of money in the next couple months. Like I said, one of these things could be 20 or 30 grand. 5 of them could be 150 or 200,000. Just do the math. I already know these people are in trouble. I already know, based on days of market and what's going on, that their realtors don't get paid if they don't move these properties. So when I start telling these realtors, hey, listen, you can wait, but you've done a lot of work trying to market the property. You've done open house after open house, or you can just cash out with me. It works. Be greedy when other people are fearful. These people, not because of me, but these people now have the fear of God. On August 1st, the moratorium is over. The ride stops. We come to an abrupt halt. Boom. Boom. An abrupt halt. So how long do you think it takes between the time the gavel comes down to the time the sheriff comes and says, get out? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be backed up. You may be able to buy another 30 days out of it. But this isn't going to help you, because at that point the sheriff is going to put you out. Unless Governor DeSantis does it again, which I doubt, August 1st is going to be a tsunami of evictions and foreclosures. So as an investor, it's time to be ready for that. And on top of all that, there's a lot of people right now who I'm going to be showing this to, who are in a position where they need to put money someplace. You've seen the volatility of the stock market. It's been doing well right now, but anything could happen, especially with the election. So when I talk to somebody, say, let me show you how you can park some money in an asset that's not going to go anywhere. It's going to sit there, and we're going to be able to buy it below value, and you're going to be able to get anywhere between 9 and say 14% return on your money. That's the kind of thing where that's the secondary. In addition to being able to buy the property, in addition, that the second part of this is being able to cull investors to get involved with projects, crowdfund, all kinds of different ways. That's why this opportunity is what it is that the financial markets are what they are, and real estate is what it is, and it's a commodity. And I look at it as a commodity because each one of these things here with a red dot has to be sold. Period. No doubt about it. There's no ifs or ands. Every one of those red dots represents a sale. That sale must happen. It's not somebody who may have to list their property. It's not somebody who's thinking about selling. This is, as we saw just in 2 searches, 250 absolute properties that have to be absolutely sold. There's nothing else that can happen. I mean, I guess we can maybe hope that some protesters come down the street and torch the places and they get their insurance money, but that's not likely. Not in Delray and Boca, anyways. So what's got to happen? Those properties have to be, and the word I use is liquidated. Those properties, every single one of these properties has to be liquidated. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're going away. And I'm not the only person out there, but I'm going to be one of the most aggressive people out there. I'm going to do as much marketing as I can to make this stuff work for us, to work for my wife. Oh, she just got her new business card, by the way. I don't know if it'll show up. I love it. Her new business card. Let me see if I can get that on screen. No. Didn't work. Too blurry. That's okay. You're going to see a lot of her. I guarantee you that. So check out these things. Hopefully you can begin marketing in your area. It's going to be a blizzard, a tsunami, whatever you want to call it. It's coming. And you're going to see a lot more of me and my beautiful wife as we try to acquire as many of these properties as possible and help liquidate the backlog of foreclosures here in South Florida. It's going to be fun. Come along for the ride. See ya.